This is Jim and Terry show where we say some things interesting every once in a while, but not very often. And you have to stay tuned to all our podcasts in order to find that one gem of interesting stuff.
Yeah, the only thing I can remember at breakfast, me saying, "Would you help me open up the maple syrup?"
Oh, it was one of those technical questions. I am going to refer to a gem that you explored while you were having your breakfast this morning. And that was that you have been thinking what an amazing feat it was for the United States to land on the moon in light of all the trouble that's been going on ever since.
Yeah, everybody's had a bit of trouble doing what they wanted to do. And even the latest one, we all had high hopes till we realized that one of the legs was broken and it had fallen over and was leaning on a rock. So it did a lot. They're calling it a success, but you can't call that a total success.
If the lunar module broke a leg,
yeah,
what would we be talking about today?
The dead astronauts.
The dead astronauts.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to wonder about NASA and its mission. And that's how many years ago?
50.
50 years.
Yeah.
And we still can't reliably land something on the moon?
No. Apparently it's an awful hard feat to do. And part of the reason, I think we were saying at breakfast, I said part of the reason that the Apollo program succeeded on that first landing was the pilot took over.
Yes.
It was a human. It didn't land autonomously. It landed by the wit of a human who took over controls, moved it away from the rocks. So if a human was on this lander, it would have moved away from the rocks, or it would have slowed it better.
Slowed it down, yeah.
Yeah, because it would have fired its rockets to get that descent a little slower. Sometimes it takes human touch.
What's wrong with the algorithm to decide that you're going in too fast?
It's scared. I don't know what happens. I don't know why.
I have not read anything about why it came in too hot.
Yeah. I don't know why. But all I know is this. There's a lot of failures trying to get something on the moon. And then once you get it there always seems to be some kind of a complication, So it probably best is to get a satellite system around the moon, which they want to do, where there's no black spots, and you can make those adjustments.
Orbiting repair station for modules that land with broken legs. You can go and get the spare parts.
Repair team.
Maybe that's going to be SpaceX first mission would be, let's repair the stuff that's broken on the moon.
Well, if SpaceX succeeds in what they want to do, and don't forget he's even talking about building a bigger spaceship.
Well, NASA's now partnered with SpaceX officially to do the lunar.
Well, there you go, because it's the only one that looks like it could possibly pull it off. And one of the reasons he can only be the one pull it off, he'll probably crash 3 into the moon before they successfully land it. That's how he works. That's how he does it.
The thought is just too crazy.
Well, they're going to be sending up that rocket. It's only 80% chance going into orbit. And the first one was, 40? Next one was maybe 50.
Is this like in the
80.
Elon Musk time? You never know.
Yeah,
is it 80% or is it 75 or 60?
Well, the other one would have gone into orbit, the last rocket that went up, but it didn't have a payload. Most rockets that go up have a payload.
But didn't somebody think of that?
Well,
apparently not.
He set the first one up that destroyed the launch site. I mean, didn't he think of that?
Yes, you and I had
you and me thought of it.
The wisdom of the Jim and Terry show. 4 years ago, we've been saying you need a diversion system. You need something until you something. You're not going to light that thing up and just blow out the bottom.
If this is 7 times more powerful than the most powerful rocket in the world that has a diversion system for its flame and water and everything, deluge system, don't you think you need one too? But I guess he just didn't realize it would blast a hole 30 feet into the ground. I mean, really blast a hole.
So
Part of him must have been proud. Part of him must have been like, look at this beast. Look what it did.
Did I do that?
We had a concrete hurricane.
Jeez. So SpaceX is partnered now with NASA and is the leading candidate to make the lunar landing. We still don't have a timeline on that. We still don't have a timeline for the launch precisely. But I'm hoping you'll have a birthday present coming up with a launch.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking mid-March is probably more reasonable than early March.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm going to see the Beatles this weekend.
What?
No, next weekend. No, next weekend.
The actual Beatles?
No, they're dead. Well, they're not.
They're not.
Two of them are dead.
Oh, yeah, but we got AI. We can do a 3D.
Yeah. No, I think it's called. I don't know. It's one of the Beatle.
Oh, okay.
Playing in a rock pile out in the Mississauga area, I guess, or not Mississauga, Etobicoke, wherever that area is.
It's an outdoor concert, you're saying?
No, it's in a bar. Yeah, I got it for Christmas from Christina. So,
okay, very nice.
anyways, I just thought about
A cover
that,
band.
A cover band, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
So we'll go see them.
I don't know how that relates to SpaceX, but we'll work it in somehow. So getting back to SpaceX, we have
Rabbit hole. No.
we were talking about the human. I was going to say human landing system, but it's not. It's automated, autonomous docking, which is the godsend for the crewed Dragon to dock with the International Space Station. Without automation, I'm not sure. Well, I'm sure that the highly trained, qualified pilots would still be able to do that. And in fact, I think they're trained in case the autonomous system glitches or in some other way.
But the last group didn't have to touch a button.
Didn't have to touch it, but they were
Off
ready.
went. They just sat in the limo and was delivered. And I think that's wonderful. Because that's what it's going to be like with autonomous cars eventually, should it come out. You're going to do nothing. Please keep your hands off everything. It's just going to be let the car do it. The organization will work this out.
Daddy, what does that do?
Yeah, don't touch him! Oh, I see a parachute. All right.
Okay, so that's
Taking
one
your
of our
phone away
marvels. One of the things we were marveling about was the success of the Apollo missions, and not just getting around the moon at first, making the transit in the orbit and coming back, and proving that they could do that, but then to actually descend and land and take off. And I still watch the video of the blast off where the bottom part is left there and the top part just poof. It just has to have enough velocity to get to orbit, and then it'll be captured and start to fall.
And I don't know if it fires its engine once it pops up, because don't forget, part of the problem, one of the reasons SpaceX's plan is a little bit better is it's not using its rocket at the bottom to land on the moon. It's using its upper jets to slow the descent, because you'll burn a crater into the moon. So the same thing taking off. There's a lot of dust, a lot of dirt.
Yes, they call that stuff the regolith. And that stuff, if you saw the crater under the launch mount, and you imagine stuff like that happen to the dust on the moon, you'd probably, you said the moon was hollow. They would bore their way right through the crust into the hollow.
But I maybe with a dust cloud just keep orbiting the moon, and next thing you know, you got to go through a ring. There's a ring around the moon.
Wow, creating your own planet.
And that's how it happened on Saturn.
Oh, very interesting.
It was someone taking off badly.
Now, we were talking about the Harms Act a while ago. Harms Act before the Parliament, now being introduced by the Liberal government to regulate the internet. And I'm going to throw this out. The cell phone technology that we assume is in your back pocket and your phone's pinging during the Jim and Terry Show podcast. It's got more smarts than the entire Apollo mission.
Way more smarts.
So I'm thinking if we did that, we being the collective humanity, if we were able to do that so many years ago, and I recall looking up in the summer night sky to see and wonder, can they see me?
Yeah.
As a teenager, that's what you do. Yeah.
Well, they're up there. Yeah.
So you wave the biggest flag you got. Can you see me? Yeah. I'm just wondering about cell phones, and does that do anything for the moon? The same technology now that we carry in our back pockets, how much more is there in autonomous systems now in AI?
Oh, yeah, incredible stuff. Even this last unit that landed on the moon, its navigation system broke. And so, but they had a experimental navigation system for our Artemis landings. They had to tap into that. They found a way, which I think is brilliant. They found a way to tap into that, and that's what guided them down. And that's amazing. That was just first time ever used.
So really, Artemis landed and broke a leg.
Yeah.
Good
Not
to know.
bad when you weren't designed.
Good to know in advance of the Artemis landing.
No, but good to know that. Don't forget that was to calibrate and everything. That They had no choice. The other
Yeah.
one wasn't going to work. So they used the onboard one that they were going to be experimenting with, and they rewired everything somehow, 500,000 miles away.
I wonder
And-
what the lag was in that signal.
What's
Is that what caused the
I
lag?
wonder. I wonder. It came in too fast. So
So the lag in the signal transmission that said slow down was too late.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That they'll have to figure all
Still
that out.
fascinating stuff with no human pilot to navigate as we had with Apollo.
Yeah.
Maybe there will be more of these things until AI is able to actually do it.
I can't imagine a human up in that little spaceship, that gigantic spaceship, a little human landing that sucker. I don't know. To me, it just seems weird. A little joystick,
I have a hard enough time with my car. I have no way of imagining sitting in a big 18-wheeler. That to me is a miracle as well. So respects to all the trucking industry people, men and women who run those huge vehicles. Now put yourself at the top of the SpaceX Starship coming into the moon, and you're going to park that thing on a dime?
Yeah. These people have guts. They really, really do. They may be partly crazy, but they have guts that they will go up there. Imagine the first guy to land on the moon. Super chance you're going to die. Super chance. And you're only in your 20s, or I think, wasn't that what was it? In their 20s?
Yep.
You're going to die. Yeah, but I'm the first guy to die on the moon.
And those are my footprints.
Yeah, and those are my footprints, or my guts. One or the other.
That's my empty spacesuit. Yeah, the visions from the great beyond. Yeah, so we're marveling at human ingenuity. We're marveling at the technology that got us to the moon and pilotless systems, automated, that you say will be in every car.
Well, and also just think of the advancement we've gone through since the Wright brothers. Like, look at the advancement. It's you can almost see why people say, no, we haven't been around millions of years.
It's only
Look
60 years from Wright brothers to the moon.
Moon. Yeah. I mean, that's incredible, Terry.
And now it's nearly 60 years since we've been to the moon, and we kept trouble getting
back. But
Something-
we have all of these things. Like, I think if you let Musk go with it, if you don't throw roadblocks in, I think he'll achieve it. Or they wouldn't be doing it. Nobody'd be throwing
Well,
their
there will
weight
be a
behind
launch
us.
coming up in March, and this is Leap Year. Happy Leap Year,
Happy
everybody.
Leap Year to
so
you.
we're broadcasting on an extra day. Good thing we had that day, or we wouldn't be podcasting. Anyway,
right.
we're just hoping for a launch in your future, maybe on your birthday.
Maybe.
Jim and Terry Show, signing off.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.